Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with the October 2017 Hip Kit Club kits this week, and I have a layout here that I'm using elements from multiple parts of those kits actually this time. I am going to be using a sketch that you will see here in just a second, and as you can see, it's kind of a horizontal line, two horizontal lines with a title in the middle and two photographs or two elements that you want to put on the page. So I'm working with a color kit here, and I'm spraying some water onto my background because I want the watercolor that I'm going to be using to just flow freely. And you'll see as I add this, see how it just moves around without me hardly doing anything. And then I add the packaging technique to that a little bit, and it makes it, I don't know, it just moves so nicely. And because the background that I'm using here is a 12 by 12 watercolor paper that comes also in the color kit, it can take the water, and it doesn't really end up like right away. There's a little bit of a wrinkle, but as soon as it dries, it's pretty flat. So I am using the Inklings Old Yeller. It's a Shimmers product, and it has a ton of shimmer to it, and it's very golden yellow, and I'm using that to kind of match some of the gorgeous papers that are in this month's kit. The Old Yeller does come in the color kit as well as the 12 by 12 paper. I think I may have said that. So all I've done here is I've added the background basically for the two elements that are going to be on the page. One is going to be a photo and one is going to be some tags, and then I added some splatters. The next thing that you're going to see me do is I'm going to use the word adventure, and when I use this is the word is good. This word is going to be my title, and I wanted to add some color to it. So I'm using that same color, and I'm going to try to concentrate the color at the bottom of the word, and then I'm going to move some of that paint up toward the top, mixed with a little bit more water, so that it looks kind of like an ombre effect. So that's what I'm going for here. I use my fingers, but then I go back in with the brush because it just works a little bit better. So I've used, I think now, two of these words. I have actually double the copies. This comes in the Hip Kit Club kits this month, but also I had already purchased them. They're from the Dear Lizzy, the recent collection by Dear Lizzy, and so I have double the kits. And so because I have double of each of these words, I feel pretty free that that I can take some risks and put some paint on them or change them up. And if it doesn't work, guess what? I have a backup. So I will tell you that even though I was a little nervous about putting paint right directly onto, there it is. Look at that. It's gorgeous. You'll be able to see it a little bit better in the close-ups, but as it dries, it has even more shimmer to it. And I really like how it ended up looking. So anyway, so my bravery is only because I have an extra on hand that I purchased. So I was so excited to see that these came in the October kits because I wanted to use them so much. I just think they're just beautiful. So anyway, I went and I cut, instead of hearts that are in the sketch, I decided I would use stars. And I thought they fit the title of adventure and the topic of this layout a little bit better. The stars, hearts would have worked as well, but I just thought I would show that, you know, you can take a sketch and make it your own. And so I used this gorgeous paper that comes in the kit, and it has all these beautiful fall leaves on it, and I cut it into a bunch of stars, many different colors or many different sizes, excuse me, of stars, and it matches that Old Yeller Inklings perfectly. So I'm kind of toying with maybe the idea of using some of these Project Life cards, and I don't end up using them in the final bit here, but I do end up using some of the tags that came in the kits. So I'm going to use, see, look, that fits perfect. Look at these fantastic Project Life cards. That would be perfect for this. And I set it aside, and actually I end up walking away. In a few minutes, you're going to see that there's a transition in the video, and it's because I walk away and decide, you know what, I need to just let this stuff dry a little bit before I ruin it or ruin something, and I'll come back. So you're going to see me do that here in a second. Right now I'm just kind of trying to find all the stars that are located in the ephemera packs and various things. That's that gorgeous paper right there that I'm going to actually use as a border around the outside. So I'm putting it there so I kind of know what it looks like, and I'm just messing around trying to figure out what tags do I want to put. I only have one photo that I want to use. And fortunately, the photo actually has some of the same colors that are in this kit right in it. It's a photograph of my daughter and myself. We went skating for the first time, roller skating for the first time for her. And it's of our feet in skates, right as you go in the skating rink from the rug out to the skating rink, and there's a line there, and there's a little bit of that kind of coral red color that is in the kit, as well as almost that yellow hue. And some of that yellow hue is just because it's an iPhone photo that I took in poor lighting, but it was okay because it just worked and it looked good. So I really like that die cut right there, and I'm going to end up using it, but I'm going to end up cutting it up. I liked the sentiment, but I didn't like the square, or actually rectangle to be real here. And so I'm going to cut it up, and I'm going to use it as phrase strips. You'll see me move that around here a little bit. And once I move that around a bit, I decide, you know what, you need to just walk away and let the paint dry. So I do, and later, just in the same day, but it's gotten a little colder, so I put on a sweatshirt and I come back downstairs to my basement studio and finish up the project. So what you're seeing here took me in real time probably about 15 minutes. And it just amazes me because when you're working with a sketch and you're working with a kit, and you already know what photo you're going to use, it really doesn't take that long to put these together, and especially because everything matches so nicely. And I think you'll find when you see these that the kits are also very versatile. So even though everything matches and all of that, I can also create many different kinds of layouts from the same kits. So anyway, so right now what I'm doing is I'm just gluing everything down, and I'm just going to put a little squirt of glue in the center of each of these stars. Most of those stars are stars I cut out from that pattern paper, and then some of the stars are stars from one of the ephemera packs, I believe. And this is another piece of pattern paper that I cut some stars from and added those over the top to have a few little layers and some diversity. What I was showing you there is off camera, I went ahead and I stitched through each of those stars or star clusters with some gold thread. And I will tell you, working with gold thread is very different than working with other thread. And I did have to rethread it for almost every one of those stars, or every other star or so. It would break and I would have to rethread it and go on. So these little hearts have some stitching already through them, and it's like a vellum that goes over the top of a pattern paper in the background, and they're so cool. And I almost actually, when I first saw the sketch, I thought about using those hearts, but then it just ended up evolving into this. So the hearts I added in just for a few little pops of color. And now I'm just going through all of the different pieces and looking for little pops of color that I can add. I like that kind of coral pink color, and so I'm adding a few pops of that. I'm adding some hearts in there, and then I'm popping up my photo. And I think that's the only thing I pop up, except I do pop up one of the words, the word heart, in that phrase right up there that I was just messing with. So now I've decided, I've committed, I've sewn some things down, and I'm ready to go ahead and add this large title to the center. I do get out my T-square and I try to make it as straight as I can. They're not perfectly flat on the bottom. I don't know if that's the right word I want to say. Like if you put them on the line, they would not be on a line perfectly. At least this long word isn't. So I think it still looks straight though in the end. So now I'm taking some of that gold thread and adding it behind my photograph up in the upper left corner, and then I'm going to hide it behind that cluster of tags down in the bottom right corner. And I'm adding my 3 hearts, and I have a couple of arrows that came from, there's in the kit this month, it's fabric, they're fabric, I guess, and they're printed on, and there's phrases, and in this case I used the fabric. One of them is a arrow, and then, or 2 of them I think are arrows, like a pinkish arrow and then a golden arrow, and then another that's more like kind of triangles in a row. And I ended up using those as just little, I don't know, pops of color and elements that kind of draw your eye across the page. And they have, some of them have little phrases on them that are kind of cute and fit the idea of the page. And I kept this mostly that yellow color, honestly, just because once I started laying it out, and I toyed with the idea of adding more, but I really like how it ended up. I go back and forth between, do I want that pink heart or do I want the other heart? I go back and forth between those for a while. But while I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to go ahead and add some embroidery floss to those tags. It's kind of a gray-blue color that I end up adding. Almost a navy, but it's more gray than navy, which really matches. The photograph has some blue in it. The whole kit has a lot of blue in it, but it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful hip kit, club kit this month, every month. But I am super excited to work with the October kit. Those of you that are still waiting for your October kits, they should be coming soon, right? And they are full of gorgeous fall colors. So I'm going to add my journaling off camera. This is about it. I start to add it here and then I accidentally shut off my camera, but there it is right there. And that's about it. So here are my close-ups. Thanks for stopping by. Can't wait to see what you make.